The Minor Morris was a legendary small family car produced as an attack on the small car market created by the Austin 7. Its first production phase was done in two versions, from 1928 to 1932, with 39,087 examples, and from 1932 to 1934, with 47,231 examples. In this episode, we'll review 10 hidden facts about the Morris Minor. Before we dive in, kindly hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. 10. The first Morris Minor was manufactured from 1928 until 1934. In the early 20s, the tiny 7-horsepower Austin became a success in the automotive market. By 1925, Morris's Oxfords and Cowleys had taken only 41% of the British private car market. 1926 became worse, as Morris's sales began to go even lower. The company revived sales with a new face for Morris Oxford and Cowley, and expanded Morris's range up and down the scale. William Morris realized millions from the sale and stock market listing of preference shares in his business, and he privately bought Wolseley, founded by Herbert Austin. With a surplus of production facilities and Wolseley's design engineers added at Morris Commercial Cars, little time was taken to develop the Morris Minor. The Minor had a more complex design than Austin's 7, and was unveiled on 11 October 1928 at the opening of London's 22nd Olympia Motor Show. 9. Wolseley Motors Limited designed the Morris engine. The new Morris engine was designed by Wolseley, a company owned by William Morris. Although primarily a new design, it followed a conventional Wolseley SOHC front camshaft drive concept, and was much smaller than any existing Wolseley unit. The overhead camshaft was driven by a vertical spiral bevel-geared shaft that passed through the dynamo carrying the armature. A single SU carburetor was fitted, and coil ignition was used. This first 847cc engine produced 20 horsepower, allowing the car to reach a top speed of 55 miles per hour or 88 kilometers per hour. 8. The chassis and running gear were designed in Morris's private investments. Although the company's main assembly plant was at Cowley, outside Oxford, the chassis and running gear were designed at Birmingham-based Morris Commercial Cars. Previously, E.G. Wrigley & Company was a former component supplier to Morris. William bought and renamed it after it had gone bankrupt. The chassis was built of channel-section steel with cable-operated four-wheel brakes. It rode on half-elliptic springs, and the central brake lever at the back of the gearbox worked as a transmission brake. Morris Minor's release was a mystery. Upon the release of Morris Minor in 1928, William said his idea wasn't to crush the Austin 7. Sir Herbert, the founder of Austin, also said they were on the best terms with the Morris Company. But here is the mystery. There were no pictures for the adverts. The public's first detailed description of the new Morris was released on Saturday, 26 May 1928. The press release did say the engine's dimensions were 56 by 76, equaling 748 ccc, presumably for Sir Herbert Austin. However, the motoring weeklies published better descriptions and photographs in the last week of August. Next, on Saturday, 1 September 1928, prices were advertised. At first, the only body types offered were a two-door fabric-bodied saloon and a four-seat tourer. The Morris Minor SV two-seater was sold for a magic £100. Just before Christmas 1930, Sir William Morris released a statement saying he would soon put a new car on the market for £100. This car was known as the Morris Minor SV two-seater. The body was coach-built, steel panels on a wood frame with a few bright parts to reduce polishing. It was finished in naval gray with red upholstery. Decarbonization and valve adjustment were simple and contributed to the new car's low running costs. The SV-type engine with side valves and 19 horsepower was produced, and the car was announced in April 1931, sold for the magic £100. We hope you're enjoying the episode as you learn facts about Morris Minor. There are 5 more fantastic facts, but kindly hit that like button and subscribe as we review them. The Minor was resurrected as another newer car in 1948. After the Morris Minor was replaced by the Morris 8 in 1934, the name was revived in 1948, and production ran until 1971. The project began in 1941, although the Nuffield organization was heavily involved in war work. Also, there was a governmental ban on civilian car production. Morris Motors' vice chairman Miles Thomas wanted to prepare the ground for launching new products after the war. Vic Oak, the company's chief engineer, had already brought to Thomas's attention a promising junior engineer, Alec Isagonis, who specialized in suspension design. With virtually all resources required for the war effort, Thomas nonetheless approved the development of a new small family car that would replace the Morris 8. Isagonis's overall concept was to produce a practical, economical and affordable car for the general public. So he designed it with excellent road holding and accurate, quick steering. The new Morris's independent suspension had no front axle, allowing the engine to be placed low down and far forward. The engine itself was also radical, being a water-cooled flat-4 unit. It was designed to avoid the British horsepower tax, which taxed cars according to a formula for engine cylinder bore. This engine was produced in two versions, a narrow-bore 800cc version for the British market and a wide-bore 1100cc version for export. As the car approached completion in 1946, the war was over, and secrecy was no longer necessary. Many, especially Lord Nuffield, were pessimistic about the radical car's prospects. At the same time, British manufacturers were in a rush to bring new models to market following the war's end. So, the Morris board insisted on launching it at the first post-war British Motor Show in October 1948. The Series MM-type Minor was the first produced from late 1948 until early 1953. It included a pair of four-seat saloons, two-door, and, from 1950, a four-door, and a convertible four-seat tourer. In 1952, the Minor was substantially re-engineered following the merger of the Nuffield organization, Morris's parent company, with the Austin Motor Company to form the British Motor Corporation. As part of a rationalization program to reduce the production of duplicate components for similar vehicles, the Minor drivetrain was replaced entirely with an Austin-derived engine, gearbox, prop shaft, differential and axle casing, resulting in Series 2. In 1956, the Minor received a major program of updates to keep it competitive into the 1960s. This Minor Series 3 emphasized rationalizing components to access improved economies of scale. The final major upgrade to the Minor was made in 1962. Although the name Minor 1000 was retained, the changes were sufficient for the new model to be given its ADO development number. Morris chassis numbering convention refers to these cars as Series 5, with the Series 4 designation assigned to the Morris Mini Minor. The Minor was first named Mosquito. When the design project was assigned to Isagonis Thomas, it was named Mosquito. The Mosquito codename was widely expected to be the name of the production model, but Nuffield disliked it. Also, Isagonis's last-minute size increase and the fitment of the larger-than-planned side valve engine needed to be considered. While still a small car, the new Morris was no longer the ultra-compact economy car. Morris's marketing department wanted a reassuring name, so they revived the Minor name. The Minor was one of the best sellers in the 60s. In December 1960, the Morris Minor became the first British car to sell more than 1 million units. To commemorate the achievement, a limited edition of 350 two-door Minor saloons, one for each UK Morris dealership, was produced with distinctive lilac paintwork and a white leather interior with black piping. The badge name on the side of the bonnet was modified to read Minor 1 million instead of the standard Minor 1000. The millionth Minor was donated to the National Union of Journalists, which planned to use it as a prize in a competition to aid the union's widow and orphan fund. Morris Minor is among the best-served classic family-sized cars. Today, the Morris Minor is among the best-served classic family-sized cars in the old vehicle movement, and continues to gain popularity. Many Minors in Britain and Australasia are restored and sold. Thanks for watching this episode. What do you know about the Morris Minor? Kindly share with us in the comment section below. Also, like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to be notified when we upload the next video.